Yo, what's going on, Donnies and Donuts? Come on. You know, it's another week of the Mobile DJ Mastery Podcast. Yes. All right, guys, we are back again for another second episode. And this time it's with the man, the myth, the legend, that is Tony Roberts. Quick disclaimer, this podcast was recorded earlier in the year, so there will be some things in terms of dates that won't make sense to the time of year that it is now. But nevertheless, there is some major gems, as always, and some real heartfelt take-homes as well. One of the things we talk about in this episode is wealth, man. Health and wealth is so important, guys. And as some of you lot have seen, I'm in the gym 3 times a week, because of my accountability club that I think that if you haven't got one, you should link into, or if health is something that you're working on, definitely shoehorn it or make it something that's a priority in your life. Because with the work that we do, guys, it's very physical, and you know, when you start stacking up those bookings, the worst thing you want to do is for a health issue or something with your back or your feet or your legs or your muscles, something's gone wrong because you haven't maintained it and now you can't make the booking. So a way to try our best to make sure we don't do that is try and stay active and do things that are going to help you not have that issue. As a lot of you have seen, the tickets are out now for Level Up Live. Cheese on bread. If you are part of the waiting list, make sure you head into your spam, head into your inbox, head into your junk mail. It could be hiding in there somewhere. Get your tickets now, guys, because like we said, we've sent out the emails to over 80 people and there's only going to be 50 tickets available, and we are already at 50%. So we've literally got 25 tickets left. I don't know when they're going to go. I don't know how they're going to go, but I'm doing my best to let the people know, because I do not want you to be listening to this message now and it's already too late. So I'm not sure when you're listening to this podcast, but if you haven't got your ticket, go and head into your emails now, grab your ticket ASAP before they all go. And one thing I can't wait for is for Level Up, is to meet all of you in person. First of all, I want to big up all my Patreons, because some of you have bought tickets and I can't wait to see you lot, because you lot support the channel. Big shout out to Ben Lust, man. What are you saying, bro? Thank you for supporting. Can't wait to see you. Big shout out to DJ Safari Pool. Bro, love your style. Thanks for supporting, man. DJ John Lowe in the house. What are you saying, my bro? Man like Dean Fox, my guy. Big shout out to Alex Mantelo. Yes, my guy. Man like T Teron, and he's been in the podcast as well. Big shout out to you for supporting. And last but not least, the man himself, Leroy Costell, boy. Bro, I got so much time for you. Big up all of you. And I know most of you have already got your tickets for Level Live, so I can't wait to see you in the flesh. Anyway, let's not dilly-dally. They've been waiting for long enough. Let's roll that intro and get into this episode. Oh my days, we had to get him back. We had to get him back. Tony Roberts is back for episode number 2. What you saying, my bro?
Yes, bro. How are you? You good?
Yeah, I'm fantastic, man. I'm so glad to have you back on the podcast, Tony, man, because on our last one, there was so much stuff that I wanted to ask you that we got to the end and I was like, nah, we got to do a part 2 so we can start looking into those things now. So,
yeah, wicked.
So yeah, anyways, before we start, how's your week been, bro? How's things been for you, man?
It's been good, mate. It's been a lot of, this week there's been a lot of admin going on. There's been a lot of, I'm obviously training for the marathon and things like that. You know, I'm always out running at the minute, so I'm doing a lot of training. Mm-hmm. And yeah, just getting back to, you know, client meetings and Zooms and all those exciting bits where you get to meet the clients before the weddings and stuff, as well as organising events for this year with my Show Me Love brand and things like that. So yeah, we've got loads of really cool stuff going on at the minute, and obviously now the sun's starting to come out, spring has sprung. I'm feeling a lot better, and I'm feeling a lot more confident in, you know, getting the rest of my weight off this year and all these exciting things that I want to tackle. So yeah, it's good, bro. How about yourself? You had a good week?
Yeah, no, man. Always keeping it energetic with the stuff that I do, as you know. Consistency with the online stuff, you know, like, and another thing I want to say to some people, because people see it and they see us do it and they think it's easy. It's not easy. Like, that consistent posting and staying relevant in that sense, it's not easy, but it's similar to anything that people want to achieve. Like, if you stay consistent with something and just keep doing it, it will work. So I make sure I do that. Make sure I do that. Make sure I want to keep. I'm loving this podcast. This right now, this podcast, what
sick,
is happening,
bro.
all the different
what
things.
A great idea.
Oh yeah,
love
man.
it.
And it had to be done. Similar to what we were talking about earlier about some of the DJ education and stuff. But there needs to be another form. So this is going to be the platform.
Well, listen. Look, Tony's motivational fact of today is dreams don't work unless you do. So this is this is been a dream of yours to do your own podcast, and it's really cool, brother. So I respect what you're doing, man, and you're helping a lot of people at the same time.
Oh, that's the motivation for it. That is exactly the motivation for it. All right, Tony. Yeah, you touched on one of the things I definitely wanted to start today's show with, and that is your Show Me Love brand. And I want to definitely talk about it because it's I think it's important for all DJs, whether you're mobile, whether you're club, whether you're touring. It's always great to have a brand. So let's talk about your Show Me Love brand. What is it, and why did you bring it? How did it come to life? How did it start?
So it was really like it's in its 11th year this year. So we celebrated 10 years last year, and we did a couple of really big tours and stuff, and we did some really cool events. But it literally started before, when I first started getting into weddings. Obviously, I did a lot of stuff like, beer gardens in the summer. I would do, pubs. I would do clubs. I would do parties. I'd do loads of different stuff. But obviously, where I was a bit of a niche product at the time that could sing and DJ and sing garage and R&B and history vibes, all those club classics and stuff. It was literally like my mum and dad's friend who runs the local pub. It's on an industrial estate, which was about 15 minutes from our house. So it was like always vibey over there. You might have ever heard of Baz Vegas, right? So there's a place called Baz Vegas, right? There was loads of nightclubs there, but behind it, there was a lake. And on the lake sat this massive pub, right? And it had this beautiful big beer garden that sat on the water. Very cool. So my mum and dad's friend was literally like, oh, I'd love you to do some of these like club classics nights or something. And, do you think you could do that? Do you think you could do your vibe outside and get everyone involved? And I was like, do you know what? I think I could do that. I'd love to do that because I'd only ever done stuff inside at the venue before, and it only held about 250 people. So I was like, right, let's try this out. So we started advertising it, and it was just me, evening with Tony Roberts, singing and DJing, club classics, house, garage, R&B, all those cool genres that we love to play still to this day.
100%.
And it was free entry. It was in the summer, and about 150 to sort of 250 people turned up. So we were out there vibing away, and it was such good fun. And I was blown away with it. People were all dancing. It was just, I was looking around this beer garden. I'm just thinking, wow, this could be mad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we did it again within like the space of 2 months, and 500 people turned up. And I was like, whoa, like what is going on? And this beer garden, it weren't small. It probably max capacity. We was doing events there for 5 years with like 1,200 capacities in there. So anyway, one of my DJ mates, I got them involved, and I was like, right, I need you to come and start doing this event with me. Obviously, it's a long time for me to be DJing from like, 5 in the afternoon till like 12 o'clock at night. I'd like to change it up a little bit. You get on the decks while I come out and sing a little bit. We'll get some sax players involved. We'll get some bongos involved, and we'll just bring that vibe. Do you know what I mean? Bring that summer vibe.
100%.
And then 700 people turned up. It was just like it was like one of these things that just kept getting better and better the more we did it. And then one of my business partners, he was like, mate, that thing you've created over there is absolute madness. Like it's crazy. Like, and it's like 90% women. And we were like, I know, I can't believe it. Like, and he was like, we should turn it into a business. He was like, mate, you've got a brand. Like, you've built a brand there. This is like your 5th event. So we were calling it at the time a little bit naughty. We were calling it Keistery, which was like obviously a knockoff of the word Kistery, which you cannot use. Yeah, you definitely. I worked for Kiss FM doing remixes for years since that, and you definitely cannot ever use that word in your promotion because you will get a lawsuit. Okay, so let me just warn any DJ or any promoter out there that wants to try and use that word in, please do not use that. Obviously, we know what that word means, but try and be more original or just list the sort of genres you're going to play. Anyway, that was a little misunderstanding that got cleared up very quickly. When I got told about that, I was like, no worries, we changed that. So we come up with the name Show Me Love, right? Which was, we all sat around the table, me and some of my business partners, and my business partner, we were going, well, what could we call it? What could we call it? Because obviously thinking of the genres that we played, what could we call it?
Yeah.
So then one of the boys was like, so we're saying all different things. And then someone just went, I think it was Tom, he went, what about Show Me Love? And I was like, Show Me Love. And I was like, wow. Like, I was just thinking. So then I'm like quickly looking online, what else is called Show Me Love? What else? Nothing's called Show Me Love. But the thing about calling it "Show Me Love" is it's the biggest. I'd say it's one of the probably, if not the biggest, dance track that still circulates the whole world.
And that's the world. It's not just the UK.
It's been remixed so many times.
So many times. Yeah.
Obviously, the main version of Robin S was an R&B tune. Then Stonebridge, who's an amazing producer, did his thing to it, and he made it what it was. You know, he made it that
100.
initial M1 organ, dun, 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 that big thing that people still riff to this day. They still
100.
use the same notes. They still remix it and remash it all the time. I've done it loads. And anyway, it made it an absolute global sensation, that song. So I just thought, yes, straight away. As soon as he said it, we were sitting there, we're like, yes, like, because if you hear that song, you automatically will process what sort of genre you're going to be listening to at that event.
Yeah, I agree.
So next thing we did is we copyrighted the name. We copyrighted, actually, surprisingly, again, it wasn't even copyrighted. So we copyrighted the wording. So no other brand in the UK can use the words "Show Me Love" in their promo. And there has been a couple of brands that have actually tried it since, but we've had to obviously get in touch with them, get them to change their branding. Some of them have still kept it. There's a brand in Liverpool called Show Me Love now with LUV, which I actually know the people that run it, and they didn't even know that was me that owned the brand. So it was quite funny when we had that crossover conversation. But they're very housey. They're very Clockwork Orangey style brand, whereas we are more. So
it's different, isn't it?
We are more, we're more from the streets. We're more UK garage. We are more UK funky, R&B, dance hall, all those sort of cool vibes that we would all listen to when we were kids.
Yeah.
So it literally started like that, and then it was like, right, let's call it Show Me Love. Then the next question was from my other business partner was, right, now we need to start charging. And I went, what? And he went, we need to start charging. I said, what, you're going to charge the people? He was like, yeah. He was like, it's a brand, Tony. He said, like, it's a business, bro. He said, like, I know that she's paying you, but what you're getting paid is she's taking probably 6, 7, 8, I don't know, 80 times more over the bar.
Because she was getting over 1,000 people now.
I was literally getting, mate, I was getting 500 quid. I don't know, no airs and graces about me. You know me. I say it how it is, bruv. Yeah, she's taking 40, 50, 60 grand on the bar.
I was just going to say, Tone, the bar was cleaning up.
Of course, it was. And it was an outside event. She had bars.
It was early days, though.
Shot bars. It was early days. It was a monster that was growing under my feet. Yeah, and I didn't know at the time that what it was, right? So there was only the only other brands going around at that time doing that sort of vibe in our area with Garage Nation. And they're big boys, you know. We know them very well now, James and all the gang there, and they're all friends of ours now. But at the time, there was only really Garage Nation and a couple of other old school brands that did what we were doing, but they stuck to their genres, whereas we become almost again like a Kistry style brand. So we would cover all of those different genres.
All of those genres,
and anyway, so it started off just as like a $5 to get in, right? Straight away, 1,200 people, bang, it was sold out within a month, And my partners are like, I told you. And I was like, wow, can't believe it. It's mad.
Crazy.
So then we had 4 really successful years there of doing this. Then one of my dad's friends who owns a massive entertainment company called Entertainers UK, which they travel around the world doing these big theatre style tours with like the Magic of Motown. They've got a Queen tribute. They've now got a Greatest Showman show. They've got loads of really cool shows, right? Lots of tributes, lots of sort of genre style shows. Yeah. So my dad's mate watched it, and we also used to do a venue in Southend called the Genting Casino, Westcliff, which could hold 2,000 people. And as the brand grew over the 2 or 3 year period, we then started introducing live PAs into the mix. So obviously the ticket price had to go up, because if you're booking Luck and Neat, you ain't paying, £2.50 in a box of Haribo. You are talking thousands. Yeah, you're talking thousands for different artists. Yeah, and the bigger the artist you go, the more you got to pay. And that's the way it is. But the more you pay, normally the artist pulls in the bigger crowd. So, and that's how it works for a long time. So yeah, we stepped it up. We started getting in all the old school names that I'd become really good friends with as I was growing up, which was mental, like MC Vapor, Special MC, Artful Dodger, Dave and Alistair, Sweet Female Attitude, Leanne, people that have got iconic garage tunes. Flowers is one of the biggest all-time garage tunes ever. luck and neat. You know, I'm very good friends with the guys now. You know, Joel and Michael, I've known them, 15 years now. And they, you know, it's gone from me being a fan of their music to buying their music to being on stage performing their music with them, going out for dinner with them. It's mad. You know, when I think back to it now, and I've got 4 weddings with them this year because they've now crossed over into the wedding market. Yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger. People are spending more and more. So it just grew, mate. It just grew and grew. My dad's friend was like, right, why don't we get a theatre tour going and let's try this in a theatre setting, but taking out all of these really cool theatres that I know, take out the seats, right? And literally create like a super club atmosphere inside of these ginormous theatres. So we had all this big lighting. We had all these big arena style theatres that held like 1,000 to 2,000 people. And then we did a tour in shows. We did it up and down the country with like Baby D, Let Me Be Your Fantasy, still a #1 record, unbelievable. She still smashes it to this day.
Yes,
we brought Robin S over for a tour, who obviously the song was based, the whole name of the company's based on Robin.
Yeah, it was based off on that. Yeah.
I mean, that was a very, very, you know, that was a very worrying moment when Robin S looked at me and she went, so Tony, let me understand something. Your brand is called Show Me Love. And I was like, oh my God, she's going to slap a lawsuit.
She's going to rip me apart. Yeah. She's going to be like,
she just looked at me plain in the face, right? And she was like, so let me get this straight. It's called Show Me Love. The brand is called Show Me Love. I was like, yes, Robin, because obviously, like, you know, I'm such a big fan of the song. When you hear the song, you know what sort of genre you're going to be hearing. And she just looked at me and she went, I love it. Like that. And I went,
you was like,
oh my God, she loves it.
She loves
like
it.
That. And everyone's just like on tenterhooks standing around the room. Yeah. And she went, oh my God. She went, can I get a T-shirt? Can I get a hat? I said, get her whatever she wants.
Get whatever you want.
Get Robin S. Take a cup, take a badge, because we had loads of merch. We had loads of merch and everything, right? I actually got it up on the wall. Here, hold on. I've got.
Get a look at the merch, guys.
My tour T-shirt from that year, right? So this is our old logo, Show Me Love, yeah. And there's my signed T-shirt from Robin saying, to Tony, loving you always, Robin S. And that's just fallen off the wall. It was in a nice framed picture, but it's fallen off. So anyway, I got a new frame coming for that. But she is an absolute legend, and she really embraced the brand. And we worked with her, quite a few times. We brought her over for a mini tour. And she, oh mate, I've got so much good footage. I'll have to send you a video clip from the first time we worked with her. It was at Colchester Charter House, which holds 1,500. And as soon as she did the big note, oh, like that, I had a confetti cannon button, right? And I pressed it as she hit it. And these confetti shooters just went straight over all the crowd. It was so cool, man. But do you know the mad thing about Show Me Love is it's just grown over the years. We did up to like 6,000-7,000 capacity festivals. We had a massive festival planned for lockdown, 10,000 people, and then obviously lockdown happened. We had a massive problem because we had ticket money that we were sitting on. Then you had to give all the ticket money back before they brought out the force majeure thing and all that, and the fact that you could. But then brands, they changed the rule for brands, so we'd given back like 400 grand's worth of ticket money, absolutely skinted ourselves because we'd already paid out for a lot of the infrastructure for everything. And then the government changed it so you could sit on people's ticket money as long as you honoured the show and moved the date. But it was already too late for us. We'd already given back so much money because we're just an honest, you know, it was 4 mates at the time that had this brand. It run alongside. It's always been our hobby business. Show Me Love's never been a real business for us. If we really worked at it, it could be massive.
It could be huge.
It's our hobby business. You know, the difference is when I started it, I was a £500 singer and DJ. I'm now getting £3,000 to £4,000 a day at a wedding because I stand there all day doing the wedding. And instead of paying 4 people, you can pay me and I can do the whole thing. The thing is, for me now, it's got to a point where we was doing these big shows and everything like that. But after lockdown, it just becomes so hard to redo events. We did this big 10,000 capacity festival, which was amazing. And we pulled it off to the best ability that we could. It cost us an absolute fortune. We had to put money in from our own pocket. We didn't even earn from it. But everyone that come to that festival said, it was amazingly run. It was, you know, we were just getting hit left, right and centre from the local councils. They were making us pay for things that we didn't even need to pay for. But we had to, by that point, we had to get it across the line. So we did it to the best of our ability. And it's one of them ones, it's a bucket list thing that I've ticked off my list that I've done. I've got video footage and something that we created, 10,000 people in a big top tent, all dancing and raving, and it was so good. And then since then, we've pretty much downsized it a little bit. We still do like up to 1,000 capacity events, but mainly after lockdown, everyone went brunch heavy because that was the way to go. Then now it's all day parties. And the problem is everyone's jumped on and latched onto everyone else's ideas because they've seen it work for one person. In our area, 10 years ago, we were one of the only ones doing it. Now there's 6, 7, 8 brands that have started that are all trying to just do what we do. But unfortunately, our followers, you know, they don't think on the mentality of, oh, if I go to that event, I might affect the ticket sales on that event. Or, you know, I could put Luck and Neat on one week at a place in Basildon, and then someone could put them on a month later, but the date works for that person better, so they were going to go to that one.
They go to that one.
So even though there is a loyalty there is still, you know, they'll still follow the main artist as well as the brand. But yeah, we've just downsized it over the last few years. Like I said, we had our 10th birthday last year. We had 10 brilliant headliners at Brentwood Centre. That was brilliant. And we've got so much great footage, but the great crossover that has happened in the last couple of years is the fact that my brand and my team have stood on stages entertaining festival crowds of thousands. But we're working on a brand new promo video at the minute because it's like, you know, you can get any wedding band, you can get any, you know, people that can do what you want to do, but have they done this? And it's us standing at these festivals in front of 10,000 people or 5,000 people creating that vibe. You know, have they done that? Have they done that? And then bang, at your wedding, you can now have a team from this company that does that. And so far, since we've been advertising the Show Me Love Collective, which is like our branch off private events side of the company, we've had like 30, 40 bookings come through in the last probably, I don't know, 3 months. It's been mental. And do you know the mad thing is as well, which is quite cool, and this is a really good crossover now, because you know it's like yourself. When someone buys into you, we've talked about this before, when someone watches you on social media and they buy into what you're selling, what your USP is, and they're like, I've got to have that DJ at my wedding. I've got to have that singer at my wedding. I don't care. So we was getting to a point where obviously there's only one of me. So it was like, oh, what, Tony's not available. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. Some brides are amazing. They want to move their wedding date just for you, which is
it's happened.
wicked.
I think
and I know you've had that as well, which is great.
But
now the fact is that I can say to my, you know, because we've lost customers over the past because obviously I'm not available, so they're not really interested in anything else my manager's got to say.
That's true.
Don't matter what DJ is going to show them, don't matter what singer. However, if it's a group of people that's endorsed by me, that show has been produced by me, and it's pretty much exactly what I do at weddings, then you've almost got the same package again. You've got a second sell or a third sell. So this has been working really well for us, as in the fact of just putting that Tony sprinkle into all of these little groups that we've got. It's working. Do you know what I mean? So the other day, I mean, this is mad. I didn't even realise that my manager the other day sent over to our booking team on Show Me Love Collective 24 inquiries in the last, when is it? I think it's the last month, right, that have come through for me that I can't do.
You can't
24.
do.
I'm gutted, bruv. 24 brides.
Let's
Bruv,
think of like,
so
even
many.
if we could get the calculator out and say the potential,
Yeah,
seriously, the potential earning, we're talking well over 50k there.
Bro, it's do you know what I'm saying? But it's mad, you know. And now that I can offer a product that's almost identical to what I do, that obviously I'm not going to be part of it on the day unless I'm available. That is another thing people are doing. They are going for the full package as well, with me included, which is cool. But yeah, it's good now to be able to offer something else that I can say, look, I personally recommend these people. They do my mashups. They do the show that I've produced. And I know that they're going to smash your wedding because they're working on the same concept of what I've done for the last 10 years. So touch wood, that is going to, I mean, it's doing well so far. But yeah, it's cool, man. Like this year with Show Me Love, we've just reined it back a little bit. We're doing a few more brunches. We're doing a few more like day parties now. And then, yeah, just a few evening bits. But it's mainly because there's just so much, it's so watered down out there at the minute. And everyone's fighting for their space, just like they do in every industry. Do you know what I mean? But
it happens,
I'm not going to get to a point where I'm going to keep wasting 50 to 70 grand a show because people think that you can just throw 1,000 people in a field. What about the infrastructure? What about the sound system that you need for that many people?
Yeah.
What about the lighting and the screens that you need? What
Health and
about the
safety.
security,
Yep.
health and
Toiletries.
safety,
Yep.
toilets? Mate, there is so much that goes into planning these events. People have not got a clue. And I've had people go to me, can you help me plan a charity event for so and I'm like, yeah, of course I can. Can you get me that big tent that you used? I went, yeah, if you got 15 grand.
Yeah.
15 grand for a tent?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, bruv,
Yes.
it's an industrial like festival tent. It's not just something you just rack up out of like Camping and General.
Yeah, it's not
gonna
it's
or
not
the Range, bro. Let's get a couple of 10-man tents and just pitch it. Do you know what I mean? It ain't like that, bro. This is something that requires a whole team of 30 people to put up. It's mad, bro. And so many people. Now that I've been on the other side of it, I appreciate people that especially people that put on things like Creamfields, like remember V Festival and stuff like that, and like We Are Festival and Love Juice and all of the bigger stuff that's going on with like more like 50 to 100,000 people. It's mad, mate. The amount of infrastructure and costs involved in that.
Is what's crazy,
bro. That's without even booking an artist.
You ain't even booked an artist yet.
You're talking. You could spend £200,000 without even booking one artist.
Easy, and that's just infrastructure. And once you start booking artists, depending on what kind of, just to give people a bit of context, I remember when I was doing the festival in Malta, and I remember my partner saying like, "Who's your dream DJ? If you could just book anyone, who would it be?" And I'm like, "Is that well? Forget budget. Who would you be? And let's just have a look here." So I was like, "Oh, I love MK. MK was popping at the time. Oh, he still is. You know what I mean?"
I inquired about MK.
Yeah, I inquired about MK. So we said, let's just inquire about MK. So then we put the inquiry in, just in case some people listening, just so you know. To get MK at the time, this was 2019. To get MK at the time, it was 25 grand for an hour and a half set. That's one DJ. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? So if you're thinking of getting 2 or 3 on that same level, you're already at 75 grand. Do you know what I mean?
75 bags, mate.
75 bags. So then, you know, festivals and stuff like that, they cost ridiculous amounts of money. So talking about your brand and stuff, Tony, obviously, like I know, one of the things I do see on your page, which I love, is that this guy is abroad. I don't know. He must go through about 2 passports a year, guys. This guy, he travels like I don't know how.
Oh no, don't! I've got a really funny story about that.
Go on.
I'm not joking, right? This actually happened to me 2 weeks ago. I went to Prague for my cousin's stag do, right? And I've got to Prague and I've walked up with all the boys. Yeah, we've gone to the passport bit. Guy's pulled my passport out and he's looking and he's flicking through these pages because I do have a lot of stamps, right?
A lot of stamps in there, yeah.
And all of a sudden he's gone to me, he's just looked at me and he's gone, do you know about the Schengen law? And I was like, can you remind me? He's like, well, basically you're not supposed to spend more than 90 days out of the UK within an 180-day period, right? So I'm like, oh my God, since Brexit this has happened. So thanks Brexit, you've done us again. So you're only allowed to spend 90 days outside of the UK in Europe, in a 180-day period. And once that 180-day period resets, then you start getting your days back. Anyway, this guy's looked at these stamps and he's gone, so you might not be able to come in. And I'm like, oh my God. I started panicking, mate. Yeah, bro, I'm getting hot. Like I'm internal combusting. Like all the boys have gone. I'm
sweating.
Bro, all the boys have gone. And it's gone from me laughing and having a few beers and a few gins on the plane to like my face is pulsating red, bro. I'm like panicking. And he's just looking at me and he's got it in for me big time and he's going, yeah, see, the thing is that if you've got too many stamps in the passport, we will not let you here. And I'm like, oh my God. He's like, so I'm going to have to look and go through. So he made me stand there for half an hour while he checked, He was really, really on one. Proper, like, job's worth. Do you know what I mean? Excuse the French. Anyway,
20 quid, man, let me go.
Thank God he did let me go. He said it was all right, but he said, make sure that you were up to date with the law. But I think it was because I sort of played dumb to it and was like, oh, no. He's like, why'd you go abroad a lot? And I was like, oh, I visit family. I said, sometimes I do gigs out there.
Yeah, I'm an entertainer. I'm working.
Because, some places you do have to get visas for and things like that. But 9 times out of 10, I do loads of weddings in Spain and stuff. So you're literally back and forwards within 2 hours. And I only fly over like a day before a wedding or sometimes even the morning.
On the day,
So I'll fly it in the morning. I'll go down to the venue. I'll inspect all the kit, make sure that everything that I have told the customer that we need is correct, or it's a very, very similar style or similar make, similar power outlets, similar lighting, you know, everything. Because sometimes in different countries you will get, you know, a vice versa sort of brand or something like that. But as long as your main, you know, controller or your what you've sort of requested is there. I mean, I know you talk about small controllers all the time. This is one that I really like.
Okay, we've got a small controller coming on the screen.
Yeah.
Hopefully, guys, you're watching on Spotify or you're watching on YouTube. If you're not, make sure you head over to this and get a look at what we got here.
So obviously, all of my kit is mainly Pioneer, right? So I use in my studio indoors, I've got CDJs. I've also got controllers that I use day in, day out. At weddings, I mainly use stuff like SRT 1000 or the FLX 10 or whatever, similar to you. But for going abroad in my rucksack, I found this little gem,
That's the Impulse 500,
which is the Hercules controller. Yeah, this is the 200, bro. Mark II.
Oh yeah, nice.
Look how small it is. Look how small it is, bro. It's got up and down fader. Yeah. It's got a crossfader. It's got your hot cues and everything else. It's got everything on it, bro. It's even got all of your bass.
The filter as well. Is that a filter, that one there?
The platters are heavy. It's got a filter as well.
Nice.
It's got mate. It's basically a whole baby controller. Yeah, it's got every feature on it. And it's like £100, and it works with record box.
That's £100,
bro. It's about £100. Yeah.
Nice.
And it's brilliant, and it's got its own sound card as well. So you literally just put the USBs in the back. You put your aux cables in the back.
Oh, nice.
Mate, honestly, for going abroad, it fits in the back of my rucksack. So I've had it before where I've turned up to a wedding abroad and I've ordered, I've sent like an entertainment equipment rider over. Yeah. So just, you know, what we need on site. So normally I just go standard sort of CDJ 2000 setup. The reason why I do that is, or now I'm using things like the RX3, like the new controllers with as well as a platter for your, you know, your USBs. You've also got your, you know, say like multiple inputs. So you're like, for any reason, if your laptop crashed, you need USB inputs. Yeah. If your USB weren't working, you need an aux input as well. So for me, I always carry 3 forms of a backup. We literally send over all this kit, and sometimes I've got there and it's been completely the wrong thing, or it's been a very old make of what. So say like with the CDJ 2000s, you can link that with the DJM 900 and you can put it into control mode. So you can basically effectively use the whole setup like a controller. So you can still run your Serato, right? But I've got out to these places before and they gave me like a CDJ 750, like an old school, bruv, where you can literally only use USB stick or CD player.
Or SD
Who carries CDs these days? No one uses CD. Not anymore. Who uses DATs these days? Do you know what I mean? Mini disc. You've got mini disc, bruv.
Some people don't even
know
what that is.
Mini disc.
You're showing your age now,
You're got A-track. You got A-track, bruv. Wait, bro, when I was growing up, my mum and dad used to sing with A-tracks, bruv, in the 80s. This is not even a joke, mate. My mum and dad were singers and they sang with A-tracks in a machine. It was madness, bruv.
Classic.
But anyway, so yeah, you've got to make sure you've got the right kit. If you are going out to DJ at someone's wedding abroad, please send a rider for your just base it on what your equipment is at home. If you've got decent kit at home, just make sure you've got a decent controller on there. If not, make them pay to fly your controller out there. But you want to be confident with your setup when you're somewhere. The worst part is being 4 or 5 hours away from where you live on a plane and everything's gone wrong. Your controller's not working because you will start flapping. I don't care how good you are or how, you know, accomplished you are, unless you've got the right kit around you. You need to be familiar with what you're doing.
For sure.
Either take an iPad as a backup, take a spare laptop, always take backups, you know, whether it's USBs or whatever. And that's the reason why I use CDJs, because I've got that USB backup. If something goes wrong, you know, look at Wi-Fi these days. I use Tidal a lot now to DJ at a lot of my weddings because it's brilliant. Like I can get the latest song, I can get extended mixes, I can get remixes on there, and I can get pretty much everything for £10 a month. It's crazy. But obviously it relies on Wi-Fi, but most venues I work at these days do have Wi-Fi, or you know, there's 5G where pretty much most places you go in the UK these days. So that's the thing of it. You just got
as well, isn't it?
Exactly. You can tether off your phone or whatever. But Tidal works really well for me. I've used it for the last 2 or 3 years now.
Sick. Okay.
So I love that. And also, obviously, I haven't got to take up as much space on my laptop.
Computer. Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, we've always got backups. You know, the iPad is such a great thing, as in I've got, you know, an iPad with like something stupid like 500, or I think I've got a terabyte iPad, and I've got so many playlists on Spotify all saved to that iPad. So if something goes wrong for any way, you could always play something. Do you know what I mean?
Something, yeah. Because I think you can still rock a party with an iPad and a microphone. Like
100%, bro.
if my laptop went and I had nothing, I'm like, look, I've got an iPad. If I got wireless iPad and a wireless microphone, I say, look, the decks are dead. I'm coming out from the decks. I'm going to be with you lot.
But
and
this
we're
is
gonna have
where
the best party ever.
Yeah, but this is where experience takes over, because I know a lot of DJs that are good DJs, but when they get on a mic, they haven't got a clue how to use it, you know? And that's the thing. It's all right being a good DJ, but that isn't just it. You need to learn how to use a mic control properly. You need to be able to hype up a crowd at the right time. You don't have to get on the mic every 2 minutes and go, come on, get your hands in the air. But as long as you are comfortable picking up a mic, I've worked with DJs many times before and I've gone, oh, can you just make an announcement? They're like, oh, can you? And I'm like, what do you mean, brother? You're DJing someone's wedding. Like, you've got to say, can we cut the cake? Can we all get together on the dance?
You've got to say some stuff. You cannot be a silent DJ. But like you were saying, that's what I think separates the good DJs and great DJs. I think there are some good DJs that don't touch the mic.
There's some technically brilliant DJs, but pro ones, you've got to be mic illiterate. You've got to be able to be.
It's 100%,
bruv. 100%.
I agree. All right, Tony, let's move into, once again, going through your Instagram. One thing that people, because you're gonna have followers from this episode for sure, and they are gonna be seeing Tony is an early bird, up in the morning. He's doing his runs. He's training for marathons. He's always doing different kind of fitness stuff. And when you trail back through some of your social, I can see you have lost a lot of weight. Yeah. And I think you can actually help me, because one of my things that I'm trying to focus on this year myself, Tony, is my health, and because we want longevity, right? We want to be doing this for a long time.
Bro,
so how did you shed all those? Your health is 100% your wealth, and if you don't look after it, you can have all the money in the world. That's not going to help you when your health's
I know I'm quite fortunate. I've got a few friends that have got a nice few quid around them, and they always say to me, "You can't put a price on health." And obviously, you know, coming from personal experience of being big, you know, for pretty much, I'd say 70% of my life, you know, I've always been up and down with my weight. My wife always laughs at this when I say I've been fat and slim 3 times, because I have. You know, I say the same, like when she sits next to me and I'm talking to someone, I go, yeah, I've been fat and slim. She goes, he's been fat and slim 3 times. Because I have. But it's true. Like, the thing is, when I was younger, I you know, it was just one of these things of when you were like a young kid growing up in the music industry and your parents are singers, you are eating like we eat now. So we eat late at night. So we'd get in from a gig. I'd be getting from watching my mum and dad, and they'd be like, right, should we have a bacon sandwich or something? So, you know, even from being young, my parents are very old school. They're in their 80s and they eat well. Do you know what I mean? And they've always ate well. They like, you know, good food, and they like stodgy stuff like bread and things like, you know, carbs, which are actually the worst thing for people like us, because, you know, carbs are great for energy, and if you use them in the right way,
which if you're
which I've worked out in the last few years, I've really understood nutrition a bit better. Don't get me wrong, I'm still not at my goal weight, but I am in a really good shape. I'm running about 35 miles a week at the minute, and I'm feeling fitter than ever. I've got like you said, there's no way in 2020, when I was 26 stone, that I could get up at 5 a.m. and just go out for a walk. I slept all the time. I literally was snoring terribly. I was out of breath, bending down to pick up to do my shoelace up. I mean, the main reason why I got so big in lockdown was because I'd lost so much financially. You know, stuff that I'd worked my butt off for 25 years. I'd worked to build all this foundation. I'd worked to buy property. I'd worked to start businesses. I'd worked to save money as well. You know what I mean? I'd saved a lot of money, and fortunately for me, that I had that money saved, I lived on it in the lockdown. But unfortunately for me, all of my hard work for 25 years went down the pan because I had to use all of my collateral that would have helped me do so much more with my career. I had to use it to live on. But that's the only thing I don't regret with it. You know, it got me and my family through a very, very hard time. But unfortunately, where I was so depressed with losing everything, you know, we was the first ones to have everything taken away from us, and we were the last ones to be given back. So for us, and I didn't get any grants, I didn't get any furlough. I was unfortunately one of those business people that slipped through the net. So I just had to suck it up and move on. You know, one of my older brothers, Martin, he actually was one of the first people to get COVID in a really bad way. And he nearly died from it. He was working on the Big Ben project in London at the time, and they were still making them go into work. And he nearly died from that. So we had all that going on. So I'd lost all of my contracts, and I was really like, you know, my wife and my little like 2-year-old son is relying on me. You know, that's without my mum and dad that live in one of my properties that I pay for as well. So that's another mortgage that I pay for every month that my mum and dad don't pay for. And, you know, I'm very one of these people. I'm very old school. I give back to my family because I believe that if I didn't do what I did with my mum and dad when I was a kid, I wouldn't be at the level I'm at today.
Where you are now. No, 100%.
You know, and I'm very
100%.
grateful for my mum and dad, and I treat them, you know, I've got the utmost respect for them, and you know, as long as they're alive, they won't pay their bills because I pay them, because that is what I do for them, because they've done so much for me. So effectively, I'm running 2 households, all of this stuff, and it was just really stressing me out, and it was just. What did I turn to? Of course, I turned to food, because I had a very addictive relationship with food. People say they get addicted to things. There's definitely people that are addicted to food. Yeah, they're addicted 100%. To snacking. They're addicted to drinking, like not just alcohol, not just smoking. You can get addicted to fizzy drinks. I was addicted to drinking 2 or 3 Monsters a day. You know what I mean? Red Bulls. I was obsessed with energy drinks as well. Don't get me wrong. I still drink them to a certain degree, but I just don't have as many because I don't drink coffee. Yeah, because I don't drink coffee or anything like that. I have like the odd sugar-free Monster or whatever, and I love it and I enjoy it and I like the taste of it. That's why I drink it. But yeah, it does give me some energy, but really it's more about the taste more than anything. We associate with taste.
Artificial sugars and the E numbers.
Yeah, who drinks coffee these days that actually really wakes them up, but they just like the taste of it? I know people that have 3 or 4, 5, 6 coffees a day. It's crazy. Wow. But so I just had a bad relationship with food my whole life. I'd been fat and slim, and, you know, and the first time I was I was 19 years old and I was 24 stone and I lost 10 stone. And I joined David Lloyd Gym, and I got this personal trainer, and he got me on a really good balanced diet, and I trained really hard with him. And because it was a massive shock to the system at the time, the weight fell off me, because my body was so used to the shit that I was putting in there. Excuse my French. So that worked out really well for me. So then I was slim for about probably 2 years, going into like being 21. Then I started doing bodybuilding and things like that. I got into like doing weights, and I used to, you know, love like looking muscly and things like that, you know. So I got into doing that, and I'm still quite stocky now to this day. It's just, I always say I had my fat suit around it. I still kept a lot of the muscle. Do you know what I mean? Like I've got big shoulders, I've got big arms, and yeah, the fat suit over the top. And but obviously you've got to think of all that muscle. You got to think of all that muscle in my legs, where I've carried so much weight over the years. I mean, it's probably not been good for my joints, but I've got so much muscle in my legs.
Your legs
now
are used to just carrying that weight. Yeah.
And now I run no problem. Honestly, it's now I've got into it. But you know, that lockdown was a scary place, and I'd done other crash diets. I'd done things like the Cambridge milkshake diet, which is
I remember that was big at one point. That was super.
It still is big. It still is big. It's called the 1+1 diet. I still use the products now to replace certain things. So because they're so high in nutrients and vitamins, you know, I might have one for breakfast. They do these really cool smoothies now that you can just put in the fridge. Just grab one out. It's literally 200 calories. So what it is about, you know, the calorie deficits and stuff. But then, so what I do now is I'll have like 2 or 3 products a day, whether it's a protein bar, whether it's a protein shake, and then I'll have a controlled meal at night. So I'll have like either chicken and veg, a little bit of carbs on the side. Obviously, where I'm doing the training at the minute, I have to have some sort of carb because you need slow releasing energy. So it's just about balance, really. And then, you know, in lockdown, like I said, I just got out of control, right up to 26 stone. And that was it, pushed me over the edge. And I had this little 2-year-old son that wanted to play with me. And I was like, you know, it's really horrible. It makes me feel a bit emotional thinking about it. But I was looking at him thinking, you know, I can't, like, I'm getting out of
Can't do what
breath.
you want.
I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
even
yeah.
bend down and pick his toy up without it. It was the worst I'd ever been. And even though everyone around me always goes to me, "Oh, you look amazing. You know, you're lovely. Don't be silly. You know, you carry it so well." Like, it's all rubbish. Don't, like, when people say that to you, it's lovely that they're trying to give you a bit of encouragement, but
But it
they should
keeps you
just be
there, though, innit?
saying,
It keeps you there, though.
it
That's the
does
thing.
keep you there, and it kept me there for
Mm.
2 years, bruv. And then by 2022, yeah, 2 or 3 of my friends, especially one that everyone will know, is Arj from The Only Way Is Essex. So he's one of
Yeah.
my best mates for the last 16 years. We do gigs together all the time. I'm actually with him tonight, actually, at Sheesh Chigwell. But he, again, same as me, he had an addiction to food. So it wouldn't just be one biscuit out of a packet. You'd eat the whole packet.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was an obsession of just eating too much. It's just being greedy, right? It's just
Greedy.
it's greed.
It's
Please, sir, can
greedy.
I have some more? You literally
You've had two
cannot
bowls.
take a cube of chocolate. You can't take a cube of chocolate out of that share bar without finishing the bar. You
Yeah.
can't, because you've got an addictive personality. So he had a gastric sleeve, okay, and he lost 14 stone. And then I was like, wow. And I'd been researching this for a while, and I was thinking, do you know what? All it is really, when I got slim the 2 times before, I'd shrunk my stomach, so I couldn't overeat too much.
What
You know
you
what I'm
could,
saying?
yeah, because you shrunk it. Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought,
yeah.
if I can actually do that in an operation, then that is going to work for me. Do you know what I mean? And anyway, he had it done. 2 or 3 of my other friends had it done. So I looked into having it done with the place that he had it at, Gatwick, and they ended up messing me around a little bit. So another year went past, and I'm like really getting frustrated because he's now slim again, and I'm still fat.
Yeah.
So it was like, for God's sake, I just want to, get this done. So do you know what I did? It come round to it. It's the end of 2022, going into 23, and I was just like, do you know what? I don't really care about getting Instagram deals, TikTok deals. I'm just going to book it, right? So there's a place that my friends had been in Turkey called Get Slim in Turkey, and there were 2 English women that own it, and they had been fat, and they'd had an operation, and they'd lost the weight. And and I thought, and I'd see the whole way that they do their business, and I thought, you know what? I'll go with them because I know 3 or 4 people that have been there. They had great results. They were treated amazingly.
Yeah,
The
you've
aftercare
been
in the
recommended.
UK, if you have an operation like that, you get kicked out within a day, right? These people look after you for 4 days. They make sure you're all right. The doctors come in every single day, check on you, how you feeling today, blah blah blah. And it's very, very good. And most of their technology and their hospitals are cleaner and more up to date
Them
than
down
the
here.
UK
And you wouldn't
hospitals.
think that, innit? Some people, like the average man, you wouldn't think that.
Bro, people think all the time, people go to me, oh, you're not going to them dodgy backstreet clinics, are you? Like, dodgy backstreet clinics, these people, they're marble floors, it's crystal, like, there's cleaners everywhere. It's so clean.
Proper business.
And every
innit?
time someone comes to give you some medicine, there is someone else with them that speaks English, that can translate everything, tells you everything that's going on. So I literally paid $3,000. I went, bang, I'm booking it, right? And I booked it, and within 10 days, I was in Turkey, yeah? I went on my own, and I just thought, I'm going to do this for me, more importantly, but for my wife and for my son.
And
I
the
cannot
sun,
carry on
yeah.
like this. I need to change my life, and I need to change it today, right? And I did, and I, whole hand on heart, touch wood, say to you, it's changed my life. Like, honestly, I'm still 17 stone, but I'm very solid, yeah, when it comes to muscle, and I'm always going to be wide. I'm a stocky fella, right? But I'm in the best shape that I've ever been. I'm physically so fit at the minute. I'm running 35 miles a week.
Yeah,
I
you're
play
smashing
with
it,
my
son.
son. I'm in the garden throwing my son around. But also, the mad thing is about it is all these little chats that me and you have about getting in at 3 a.m, and then your son comes running in to jump on you, and you've had like 4 hours sleep. If that was the old Tony, I'd be like walking around like a zombie. I'm up at 5 o'clock every day. I'm full of energy. And that's another thing it's given me back. Energy. It's given me back my life. I go out every day now, and I live life to the max. Do you know what I mean? I've completely took another outlook on life. It's almost, you know what? I said it to someone the other week, without sounding like religious, because I'm not really a religious person, but it almost feels like you've been born again, because
Yeah.
you shedded that old body, right? But let me tell you one thing. People think that gastric sleeves are a cheat. Yeah, there's so many people go to me, oh, but you cheated, didn't you? You had a gastric sleeves, like all these keyboard warriors on the internet. I'm like, listen, if that's a cheat, yeah, you go and do it, mate. Because let me tell you one thing, there's definitely no cheating about it. What it is they just take away the biggest part of your stomach and leave you with a normal sized stomach. So the only difference is now that when you eat, you get full up quicker. So the natural thing is you start dropping weight. But what you have to do is they say to you, you have to go for a walk every day without fail, do an hour's walking. And if you really want to make your body go to the right way, you've got to train. And don't get me wrong, there's people that have these gastric sleeves and they don't train and they just sit in the house dropping weight. And then they end up with like loads of saggy skin and stuff. And that's what puts people off. But I have done nothing but train the whole time since I've finished. And I'm all right, man.
You are literally active, man. When I mean you're active, you are.
But so is ours. It's exactly the same thing. So we are living proof that you can have a gastric sleeve. And there's 3 or 4 other people I could point you in the direction of that have all done it. And now they are all living a very healthy lifestyle. Don't get me wrong. I still like a slice of pizza. I still like a Chinese or an Indian. But I just don't excessively, I don't excessively pig out on it. I just literally have 1 or 2 slices of pizza. I know my limits. And once I've tasted it, it's like, I'm good. You know what I mean? It's just more of a craving of tasting it. But another mad thing about it is, just the last thing to point upon, is they take out like your hunger gland. It's attached to the bottom of your stomach. So you don't feel hungry anymore. And I can't really, it's so hard for me to explain it. You know that feeling, like that sicky feeling when you're so hungry and like you're like, oh, I feel sick, but I'm hungry.
That's when you've gone too far.
You don't get that anymore. But you don't get that anymore.
Serious?
Right, I don't ever feel hungry. I just eat and I drink because I know I need to at the right sort of times. And so I could stand at a wedding now, till 7 o'clock at night, and my stomach wouldn't be grumbling, and I need to go and eat. But that's why I just drink the odd protein shake and stuff now, because it's still just easy stuff you can pick up. But yeah, mate, it's life changing. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't say to anyone just go and jump straight into doing it. Go and research. Go and do your
research. Like check out the places that you want to do.
But for me, it's been life changing. So definitely, I don't regret it at all.
No, but that is so interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that, Tom. That's quite personal.
That's all right, bro.
I appreciate you bringing
Listen,
that.
Listen, I always say anything that I've had done, like surgically, like I've had, obviously, I've had a hair transplant, things like that as well. Like anything that I can help people with and give people advice to make them more confident in their self, I will always try and help people. And I'm always trying to steer them in a. Well, yes. At the end of the day, we're only here once. You've got to try and I just try and be as positive and as helpful as I can with people, and that's the best way I look at it, anyway.
Okay, I appreciate that. All right, Mr. Tone, coming down to our last question, my man. The surprise question you didn't know about. So, obviously, one thing I love about you, Tony, is that you've done so much things, bruv. You've got like vast experience in different areas. Like when it comes to music, you're all over it. DJing, touring, businessman, investments. Like there's so much that you're doing. Health, fitness. You've done so much. Now, what I want you to imagine, is that especially when it comes to business, I want you to imagine something happened the next day. Click your fingers. You've lost all your business links. You've lost all your equipment, all your gear, all your followers, everything's gone, Turn. Everything's gone with a blink of an eye. What is it that you think you would do in your first 2 to 3 weeks to get back up again if that did happen?
Well, to be fair, I'd say COVID pretty much was that scenario for me. Do you know what I mean? I literally lost everything. But what you've all just described there was everything. Apart from losing my house, I pretty much nearly lost everything. And it happened to 2 or 3 of my friends as well. So the quickest thing that I could do, thinking on my feet at the time, because I obviously had a 2-year-old son and my wife, was I looked outside. I've got a white van that I used for gigs at the time. What can I do to earn money? Go and deliver parcels. And no one's allowed to go out. So I went straight away and started working for Yodel. And I did it for a year and a half. And I worked. This is what makes me appreciate money even more now. I used to work Monday to Saturday. I'd leave my house at 5 in the morning. I'd get in at 7 at night.
Jeez.
just to earn a month what I can earn in one day at a wedding. So that massively humbled me to the point of, thing is, the more money you earn and the bigger your lifestyle becomes. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes you get lost. You do get lost in it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it don't matter how nice of a person you are. You do forget sometimes, and you'll be like, oh, yeah, I really want that watch. or I really want that car, or I really want to just buy that laptop, or that, you know what I mean? You forget, because money comes and money goes. So you become quite easily in the fact of you could do anything. But I suppose that I would definitely open some other businesses, doing some other bits. You know what I mean? Like stuff that's just more that I'm interested in as well. And there's a few little bits and bobs that I've got into since the lockdowns happened, because obviously I had all my eggs in one basket. I had a recording studio, I had my gigs, I had everything to do with music. So now I've branched out a little bit more and invested in a few other companies and things.
So if that doesn't, then you've always got like something else to
Yeah,
have
if that ever happened to me again, like I also learnt new skills. So like, for instance, what you just said about, say, like all the music just went, another thing that I like, I get, I'm quite into my designing and, doing video work and recording, and, there's always something else that can spring off of something else. Do you know what I mean?
Sure,
and,
100%.
if I didn't have the restrictions of lockdown, of not being able to go out, I could have 100% picked up another piece of equipment I had around me and done some stuff with it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, man, I used to be a salesman years ago, so I'd probably go back to a bit of that. You know what I mean? Because, what's happening, girl? You're right. You know what I mean? I'm loud and lively, and I'll get, especially like phone sales. I used to work for a mobile phone distribution company, and I used to love getting on the phone and just pretending to be different people every day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good morning, Excalibur. Tony speaking. How can I help you? You know what I mean? Yeah. Bear with me, customer. Yeah, 2 seconds. I used to love all that. Like, it used to be a right laugh. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, man. Like, when I think, I don't. I actually think now this is another reason why I don't take anything for granted. Like, I always feel so lucky that I get to do this every day. You know what I mean? There's probably 10% of the people in this world that actually love what they do.
Yeah,
and that's
literally.
actually a mad statistic. It's something like that.
Probably less, to be honest with you.
Probably, but I'm one of those people that can honestly get up and say every day that don't get me wrong, it's took me 25 years to get to this level, but to get up every day and say, my dad always used to say to me, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So it doesn't really feel like work to me. It just feels like every day I get up and I have another adventure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just love
the life of Tony today.
Like today, it is so much. Today's just been one of those mad days where you're trying to cram loads of stuff in.
But you're getting it done, Tony. You've done this podcast. You've got this, and I know you've got
yeah, bro. I'm just about to go out for a 10-mile run in a minute, mate. So I'll be thinking of you. But yeah, man. I definitely say to anyone, like, just like, life has no rewind. So like, enjoy every minute. Do you know what I mean? Like, enjoy every moment that you can, because especially, like I said to you, on the last podcast, losing my brother this year as well. Like, my brother went from being ill 6 months ago to literally not being here. You know what I mean? 6 months, bruv. 6 months is nothing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's already nearly 3 months since he's been gone. But like, that is how quick that illness took hold of him, and now he's not here. So for me, it's just solidified even more. Every day, get up, enjoy your life as much as you can. Obviously people have got to work, people have got to pay their bills, because unfortunately, without getting political, that's the situation that we're all in. We have to pay taxes, we have to get up and we have to pay our duties. But at the same time, just try and have as much fun as you can. Try and spend, more time with your family. And, for me, that's why I've pushed a lot of my work to weekends now, so I can, be with my wife and son in the week. And, my wife's now in a bit of a fortunate position. Since the lockdown, she started a design business. So she now works a lot from home. So we can go out for little morning breakfasts and cool things like that, where we get a little bit more time together, instead of her leaving at 6 a.m. to go to London and then getting in at 7 p.m. And, things like that. But, so many of my friends live that type of lifestyle. They're so dedicated to their work and their job. And, You know, when I
Which is a
think
bit
about,
dangerous sometimes. I think that can be a bit dangerous because exactly like with what you're saying, I know some people like that. And Tony, do you know what I think it is? Yeah, because like coming over to where we are, like we're not trying to brag and boast as who we are, but like we have set our own timetables and things of that nature. But as
yeah,
you probably know, there was a time when you never had that power and you was working. And
no way.
sometimes you have to actually make that transition so you can see it to believe it. Some people don't believe it. They wake up every day, they're at that same job. It's like they forget that you can have a new job, you can start a new thing.
Yeah.
There's so
It's
much
like
more to
Groundhog
jobs.
Day. It's like
Yeah,
Groundhog Day for a lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
people. They just feel like they're stuck in that rut, yeah. And don't get me wrong, I was there. I was
Same,
20,
same.
21 years old, bro. I was sitting in an office every day of the week selling mobile phones to customers, you know, to distribution companies and stuff like that. And I was sitting there and I'm thinking, when can I actually make this jump? When can I take this opportunity to the next level? And at the time, I was doing little pub gigs at weekends and things like that.
Hmm.
But I thought to myself, listen, dream, believe, achieve. If you're dreaming of it, you know what I mean? You need to action. You need to action something. You need to change something in your life. Unfortunately, I had to go from earning £5,000-6,000 a month as a salesman on good commission. Yeah, I was balling, bruv. I was 21. I had a
Yeah,
brand new
21. Yeah,
BMW.
yeah, of
I was
course. Six
loving
grand, you're
life,
killing it.
but that didn't make me happy. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. It was great. I was driving around and thinking, wow, this is cool. But that wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to sing. I wanted to DJ for a living. I didn't want to sell mobile phones. That weren't my passion. I
Yeah, that
always
wasn't your
knew from
destiny.
being
Yeah,
at school that my passion was I'd be in the music industry in
music.
some
Yeah,
way or another.
some shape or
Yeah.
form. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
now I'm pretty much like one of them octopuses. I'm spread so much into the music industry in different areas, and I love it. But yeah, I had to make that opportunity. So I had to think to myself, right, I'm going to lose a lot of money here. So I had to I had to save some money up,
Hmm.
and I thought to myself, I've got to pick a time to go, right? And funny enough, this has just jumped into my head. This opportunity come up, right? And I was sitting in my office and I was listening to the radio as I would in the day. And all of a sudden, it was Essex FM at the time. And this was before it changed to Heart FM, before they bought it. And it was like, are you the next big thing? Right? I just heard this ad. Are you the next big Ollie Murs? Are you the next diversity? Are you like, blah, blah, blah. Could you be the next big thing? Right? So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, yeah, I
Maybe.
could
Yeah.
be. Yeah, I could be. Yeah, I'm up for a bit of that. Right? So it was like, the thing that caught my eardrum was, it was like, you could win £10,000, right? So I was like, whoa, I'll have a little bit of that,
I'll have a
right?
bit of that.
And you get to perform on the Heart FM's Next Big Thing as the winner on the big Soul Weekender in front of 60,000 people at Highlands Park. So I'm sitting in this office and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I need to audition for this,
Yeah,
yeah?
because that would be sick.
So lo and behold, I thought, do you know what? I've got nothing to lose. I'm going to go for it. And I'd done things like X Factor, Britain's Got Talent. I'd been mugged off left, right, and centre with all these shows. Yeah, this was before I started working for them and all that sort of stuff.
Hmm.
So this is back in the day. I'd always get to like the boot camp, and then I'd get the boot. It was mad. So anyway, I thought I'm just gonna. It's because at the time I was chubby. Like my face didn't fit. I wasn't at that time of being a pop star. You had to look good on a
You have to
poster.
look. Yeah, you have to,
Adele wasn't around then. Rag and Bone Man weren't around then. All of these bigger pop stars that were around now that are successful, that wasn't around. That wasn't
That
a thing
wasn't
at
the
the
thing.
time.
Yeah, no, 100%.
You
It
had
was
to
all boy
look the
bands and girls.
part.
Yeah, you had to.
And even Simon Cowell said to me when I got to the last 14 people in X Factor in 2006 when Leona Lewis won it, and he said to me, Tony, you've got an amazing voice, but you're too fat to be a pop star. Go away and lose 10 stone and come back. And that's what he said to me. May I drop
Is that
down
how he
on
said
this?
it? Is what, Tony? Is that how he said it, bro?
He said it to me off the record. He didn't say it to me on camera. He said, off the record, you've got an amazing voice. And I'd met him, since then, I've met him 3 or 4 times, right?
Mhm.
And he just said to me, I think it was just, even though it sounds harsh, it was a bit of advice. It was like, you've got a great voice, good
It's real.
potential,
It's real.
but you're too fat to be a pop star at the minute. So go away, drop 10 stone, so you look good on a poster and come back and see us.
Mm.
And that at the time was how it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just, so I took this opportunity. I went for the thing and I won it, right? And I won 10 grand. And that was my,
Shut up, Tone.
that was,
Is that is,
bro,
so
that was
that
my
in the,
springboard.
when you heard that advert, you did it, you went and you won.
Bro, that was my springboard, yeah? That was my spring into giving up my day job and doing it full time. Because I thought, well, I've got a little bit of money behind me. I need to now jump. And if I jump now, yeah, it's going to start slow, but it's going to build and it's going to build, it's going to build. And I still lived with my mum and dad at the time, all of this stuff. So when I say to a lot of up and coming singers and DJs, I'm like, look, get the work in now and do the jump now. If you've got a day job, like I could name you 3 or 4 well-known pop stars now, people that are getting Brit Awards, Grammys, yeah, people that are selling arena tours that I've personally said to give up your crappy admin job in the day, right? That earns you £1,200 a month. Go out and do 3 gigs a week at £250 a gig, right? Add that up 4 times a month. That's well over £1,200 a month. That's well over what you need to survive
live,
each
to
month,
survive.
right?
Yeah.
So what have you done now? Oh, you've opened up 5 days of your
5
week
days,
there
literally.
to sit in the studio and write, to go for meetings, to go and
Record.
network with people. And I
network.
swear down to you now, there's 4 people, that I could say now that all lived and took that advice and are now smashing it. Do you know what I mean? Because they took that little bit of advice at the time. Because, you know, it's like that saying, isn't it, about a bottle of water is worth this much in a supermarket. Put it in a supermarket, like, put it in an airport, it's worth this much. The thing is, you can be worth whatever you know what I mean? You just got to move yourself around. If you don't feel appreciated or you don't feel like it's what you want to do, it's not your calling, then change it. You know what I mean? Only you can make the change. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Only you
Only
can make
you can make that
But
change.
yeah, listen, it's easy for us all to sit here and preach, but, you know, it's coming from a good place. And it's also not coming from a place of me sitting here, you know, balling in any way. Like I've worked so hard, just like you have, to be at the level that we're at now. And it's getting
100%.
harder and harder
Every year.
every
single
year. So it all comes from a good place. We're just trying to help other up and coming people because that's the goodness in our nature. Do you know what I mean? It's
100%.
You know, if I can take anything out of this life and know personally deep down that I've helped, you know, 12, 15 people change their life and be a better person and achieve their dreams, then that's massive for me. That's
100%. That's a massive.
You know,
massive.
like I said, there's 4 or 5 people now that I can say are global pop stars that I've had an influence in their rise to fame,
in their success, yeah.
And now they are, and they're thankful for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, but you know, it don't take me to stand here and go, I did this for that person, I did that for that person, because you know, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like,
that's gratitude for yourself. That's what you take for yourself, for your own.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Don't get me wrong. There's people that are close to me that know the people that I've done that for, but I don't need to come on. And go, oh, you know that artist, I made them, or I give them their first opportunity, or you know what I mean. At the end of the day, I'm just glad that they got there some way or the other. They live in their dream.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? So that's wicked, bruv. But like us, we're living our dream every day. Come on.
Every day, guys. And so can you. Pick up everyone that's listening. So can you, man. Like, I think that last point from Tony is going to definitely hit with someone, guy. Like, he just said, like, listen.
Hopefully.
£1,200, guys, whatever it is. This is if you want to transition into full-time. Some of you don't. But if you do want to transition to full-time, the first thing that you should try to do is that you are trying to make enough to survive. You're not trying to ball. And it might be a little bit less. So if you're earning £2,000 a month and you go out singing, DJing, you might have to settle with 1,500 for the first couple of months. But what it will do, it will pick up, you network, you meet people. With the extra time that you do have, you can do some more with that and then grow your business or your
also
brand.
what you got to remember is there's pretty much 4 weekends in every month. So if you can even get 1 or 2 bookings a month at a decent wage, you know, then it is achievable.
Yeah,
So many people don't realise that their monthly earnings can actually be made from the music industry quite easily.
Yeah.
You know, just by working out them finances. You know, you could end up giving up yourself 5 days a week to be able to keep, you know, pushing your dream, and then you just transition into being full time.
There's even some simple ones, like say if someone's earning £2,000 a month, so they're doing £500. They're doing £500 a week at their job, which is like £100 a day, give or take, right?
Yeah.
They could take a residency where they are getting paid £250 a time,
Yep.
That is two days a week. So
Yep.
even just with that, you've now reduced yourself to 2 days a week, and then you've
Yep.
got maybe your Monday, your Tuesday, your Wednesday. You might be doing Thursdays and Fridays at a bar or a club or somewhere. You're doing 250
Exactly.
a time. There you go. You've now replaced, and
Got
you've
your
got
two
so much
grand for
more.
8 days.
Got your 2 grand for 8 days, and you're working 2 days a week, and you're probably not going to be doing 9 to 5. You might be doing from 7 till 10 or something like that. Do you know what I
Work
mean?
smarter, not harder.
Not harder. That is the main take home, man. Tony Robbins, thank you so much for your time,
No worries,
bro.
brother.
You
Always a
are
pleasure.
a beacon of light, man. Make sure you follow this guy. Like, he every morning on his story, like even just this, I woke up, I could go on my phone straight away. Tony's there, early. Tony makes me want to get up because I see he's doing stuff, and I'm like, I need to sort my. Let me get up. Because I ain't gonna lie, Tony, I'm not even gonna. This is honest. I went for a walk today, and
Did ya?
I used to walk a lot, but I said to myself,
Yeah.
I dropped the kids off. I got back here, and I said, let me get this little, my little makeshift studio ready for our chat, right?
Yeah.
But then I've gone onto your thing just to see what you're doing because you're coming on the show, and then I see you're walking. I thought, you know what? I don't have to. I've got half an hour. Let me do a walk. And when I was doing my walk, what's good about the walk, as you're probably saying, ideas start to flow. Your
100%.
mind starts to turn on.
Bruv, just
So I called
natural
some
oxygen getting in your brain. Yeah,
and
bro.
movement and the movement. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, do you know what? Let me record that. Let me quickly say that. So I'm giving myself to do notes. I'm sending myself voice notes. I've done couple bits of content, something for TikTok, something for Instagram. And then I've come back and I'm like, wow, I've done like 5 bits of content. Do you know what I mean? I've got Instagrams doing stuff. That's happening over there. I got a chat with Tony. So I'm now... One of the things I'm going to take, this is just from you, and even like I said, I'm definitely going to be looking into the gastric sleeve because I need to do something, Tone. And another thing is the walking. Like and because when I came back, I
just
felt
walking,
energized.
man.
Yeah,
Walking is honestly, I walked before I even tried to run again. Yeah, I walked for 2 years. I just walked every day for an hour a day. And honestly, like I say, if I can give it a piece of advice to anyone, even when it's freezing cold, get a big coat on and go out. But it's when the cold air hits your face or when the oxygen is flowing through, and you could be walking along a seafront, you could be walking in a forest, you could be walking anywhere, but just get some fresh air, man, because it honestly does open you up and it makes you feel so much better.
So much better.
Even if you've got something on your mind, we all wake up most mornings, we're like, oh, that bill's got to be paid today.
Yeah, or some sort of stress or something.
Just go and get a bit of fresh air and it will honestly relieve a bit of stress off of your shoulders. But mate, honestly, anyone can do it. It's just, and it's easy to say it once you've done it, but you do have to put a bit of hard graft in. But if you can just try and do half hour to an hour a day walking, like I said, you still got a bit of content done while you was out doing it. But at the same time, it's just good for you, mate. It's just good for you. Do you know what I mean? I live by that now, so I'm gonna go and get me. Running stuff.
Yeah,
on.
do you know? I might even get a little 20 minutes while we're just debriefing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You know.
Mr. Roberts, man, bro. Once again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your tips. Thank you for
always a pleasure.
That you do, man. Guys, like we said before, check the show notes. You can check Tony Roberts and see what he's up to. This guy's got loads going on. And like I said, some of the things that you see that he does, we are not about copy culture, guys. One of the things I'm going to keep saying when all my guests come into the show, and I say to check them out, we're not about copy culture. It's about inspiration. Take a 10% inspiration, put your little spin on it, and then pull that out, and hopefully it will work for you also. But guys, thank you so much for listening to another week of the Mobile DJ Mastery Podcast, and we'll catch you same time, same place next week for some more gems and goodies on the Mobile DJ Mastery Podcast. Peace. We'll catch you next time.